Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make this card, you can visit my online store and the link is in the description box below. When you purchase Stampin' Up! Products through me, you can earn free products. Check out my current customer appreciation products on my blog, and the link is listed below in the description. Today I'd like to share with you my second alternative card using the October 2021 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Peaceful Christmas. And this beautiful kit created 10 cards, 5 in each of these beautiful designs. And if you're interested in watching me unbox this kit or see any of my other alternative cards, you can click on the link in the top right corner. So what I like to do is take the contents of these kits and create my own alternative cards. So today I've created this really fun winter scene card using some of the scraps from my first alternative card. And again, if you're interested in seeing that, then click on the playlist in the top right corner. So let's go ahead and get started. So to begin this card, we're going to need to cut some things down to size. The first thing is this envelope. Now I really love the envelope. I love this silver foiling of the trees on the front, but I also liked the buffalo check on the back. So I want to kind of save and use both. Now I'm not using the silver foiling for today's card, but I do have a fun idea to use that in an upcoming video. So make sure to save any scraps from this card. So what I did is I removed the bottom edge and one of the sides, and that gives me this, I can open up my envelope, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim off this back. And I don't want to trim right along that fold line. I've noticed that it sometimes will tear my paper if I cut along folds. So I now have this really pretty silver foil bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and trim that off at 1.5 inches. Or maybe I'll go a little bigger, 1 3/4, just so I don't cut any of the tops off. And we'll just place that off to the side and use this for an upcoming project. And now I have the buffalo check that I can use. So I'm going to trim this down. Let's start by cutting it right along this score line. And so that's going to sit at about 2.5 inches. And then the size I need for my width is just 4 inches. So I can go ahead and trim that down. And then I'm going to trim again right in the center. And so half of 2.5 is 1.25. And so I now have two pieces that are 1.25 inches in width by 4 inches in length. And this is the size that I'm going to be using for my card. So I'll put those over here on this side. Now from yesterday's alternative project, I had a card base that is a little bit thinner than normal because we cut off a 1.5 inch strip for our belly band. And so I have now a 4-inch wide card base. And so I'm going to go ahead and just trim this to a full card base front. So it's going to be 4 inches by 5.25. And then make sure to save this piece for another card. So you'll notice that there's a little bit of a score line right here. And don't worry about that. We are going to hide that with some other elements. But that piece is now ready for our card. So let's go ahead and put our paper trimmer away, and we can start making the base of this card. So the first thing I'm going to do is on the top and the bottom, I'm going to tear this card base. And one of the fun things about using this card base instead of just regular shaded spruce cardstock is that you do get this white center that shows when you tear it. And Stampin' Up's regular cardstock has color going all the way through. So when you tear that, you don't get a white core, you get a colored core. And so I'll show you an example of that. because we do use regular cardstock as well. So here it's torn, but you can see that color goes all the way through the cardstock. Okay, so after you've torn that, we're going to now stamp the trees right in the center. So you're going to get that long, beautiful image of trees and your shaded spruce ink spot. And I'm going to be using just my shaded spruce ink pad, since that's a little bit easier for me. And I'm going to just stamp this right in the center and all the way across my card. Okay, so get something that looks like that. Now let's go ahead and put this on a card base. I chose to do a vertical card base instead of my regular horizontal one. I just felt that it kind of went along with the card a little bit better since all the elements are very vertical. So my card base is 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches and scored at 5 1/2 inches. Now, if you like just your regular kind of book fold, you're welcome to just do that as well. So you can choose how to cut your card base for this card. So I'm going to begin by adding the buffalo check from the envelopes to the top and bottom of my card base. I am using my stamp and seal, and you're welcome to also just use the glue dots from the kit if that's what you have. So I want to have a nice border all along the edges, so nice and even. And then I'm going to place the solid cardstock in the center. Now I've placed it so that the score line is at the top. I think that hides the best when it's at the top. And then you just kind of connect all those pieces together with the centerpiece. Just like that. All right, so now let's focus on the vellum piece. Now this is the leftover piece from the die cut that we used for my first alternative project. And I wanted it to have more of a feeling that it was more purposeful. And so instead of it just keeping with the straight corners, I'm going to use my corner rounder and round each corner. And that's just going to give it kind of a feeling that it was meant to be its own standalone piece rather than just a scrap piece. All right, so the next step is to actually stamp the snowflake image that came in the stamp set on the top half of this vellum piece. And we're going to do that with Versamark ink, and we're going to heat emboss it with white heat emboss powder. All right, so I'm not sure if you can see my vellum, but my first step is to add some embossing buddy to my vellum. And this is going to prevent the powder from sticking to areas that I don't want. Then I'm going to ink up my snowflakes in Versamark ink and stamp those along the top half of this piece. And again, this is going to give it kind of that fun feeling that it's kind of meant to be cut out instead of just leftover. Okay. So Versamark and vellum are unique because you really can't see either product very well. And so you kind of just have to hope it all is going to work out. Then you're going to add your white embossing powder, tap off any excess, and then you're going to heat it up with your heat tool. All right, and there you have a beautiful, fun, decorated tree die cut piece. Now, if you by chance don't have Versamark or the white embossing powder, then you can skip this step and just add it to your card as is, and that's really cute as well. So the nice thing about adding the snowflakes is it now gives you a place for your glue dots to adhere to, so that you can adhere your vellum to your card. And so I'm just going to take these small glue dots from the kit, and over the large circle snowflakes, I'm going to add a glue dot. And that is, so I'm working on the back side of my vellum. And so that's going to give me, again, that opportunity to adhere my vellum without having to see any of that adhesive. So really any of the large snowflakes, you can do this too. Okay, and then you're just going to add this near the top. So this is where we're going to be covering that score line that's up there at the top. So you just don't want, you want to cover the score line, and you don't want the score line to kind of peek out through the trees. I'll give you a close-up. And you want to make sure it's even on each side. Okay, so you can see how that's near the top, and that we've covered most of that score line, and that we do have a little more space here at the bottom. Now, if you wanted to, you could come in here and tear more of this off if you wanted to see more of that plaid there. So that's an option as well. All right, so now we're going to add some of our elements here just to kind of give our card some color and a greeting. On the back of the Noel die from the kit, I've added some glue dots in a row just along the center. And I'm going to place this in the middle of the gray wood grain piece that also is from the kit. And I'm just going to do it at a slight angle, just to add a little more fun to the card. Then I have a piece of real red cardstock, and this is from my own stash, and it is 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches or so, and I've just torn the edge of one side. I might tear just a little bit more to get a little bit more variety. Something like that. Okay. There, you can see that edge a little bit better that way. I'm going to roll that one up a little bit just because it's a little bit long. Okay, so now I'm going to add my Noel to the top of this real red cardstock piece. And just like that. Now, if you like to have a little bit of the red poking through at the top, you can. And I actually want to just cut that off, so I'm just going to tear it here at the top. I just had a piece that was maybe a little too long, and I don't want to see it popping out. I like just having the red at the bottom. Okay, so something like that. And you can kind of distress it a little bit. And then this is going to go on the card with some dimensionals. And I just placed it here in the bottom corner. I do want to see that line of trees at the top, the stamped trees that we added, just so that we can see those delicate details that we've placed on our card. Then I've tied a bow with 7 inches of the twine from the kit, and I'm going to add that here in the bottom right corner with a glue dot. And then the last thing, just a couple gems, and you can really place these anywhere. I just want to make sure that I can see them, so I'm going to kind of stick to the green areas. So maybe something like that. And this card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create my second alternative card using the October 2021 Paper Pumpkin Kit. If you're interested in subscribing to get your own kit, please use the link in the description box below. If you would like to see written instructions or close-up images of this card or any of my other alternative cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.